to convict. Then President Tinubu, your next pardon, I have some names for you. You must pardon Lawrence Omajapo Anini. You must pardon Oyenusi, the criminal. You must pardon Shekau. Look at the joke Nigeria has become. I like to talk with empirical
As always, yes.
Presidential pardon, offense committed, October 2025. Drugs, 29.2%. Unlawful mining, 24%. Homicide, 13.5%. Fraud and corruption, 12.3%. Hijacking, 5.3%. Firearms, 2.3%. Robbery and theft, 2.3%. Human trafficking, 1.8%. You see, at this rate, let's all go mad together. Because if we have now become a nation where we pardon criminals.
Well, in another development, the presidential pardon granted last week by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to 175 inmates and ex-convicts continues to generate public reaction. The clemency followed approval by the National Council of State, while among those pardoned by President Tinubu was Miriam Sanda, who had been sentenced to death in 2017 for killing her husband. The 37-year-old convict has spent 6 years and 8 months at Suleja Medium Security Custodial Center after being sentenced to death for culpable homicide. Her pardon sparked widespread criticism. In response, presidential spokesperson Bayo Ononuga said that Sanda's family pleaded for her release in the best interest of her 2 children, adding that the plea was also anchored on her good conduct in jail, her remorse, and her embracement of a new lifestyle, demonstrating her commitment to being a model prisoner. Sanda was arrested in November 2017 for stabbing her husband to death over alleged infidelity. She claimed her husband died after falling on a broken shisha pot during an argument. Rufai, when we took the story back in, I believe, when she was sentenced, it was heartbreaking to hear the circumstances that surrounded her death. And I'll take some reactions because the story has generated quite a few on social media, X, Instagram, and of course, Facebook. And I'll take Obiora, who wrote, "You can call it mercy, or you can call it what it is. Another reminder of how uneven our system truly is. On paper, a pardon looks noble. A show of compassion, a second chance, the image of a just leader extending grace. But in a country where justice bends for the powerful, mercy stops feeling like principle and starts to look like privilege. Too many ordinary people are serving endless sentences for lesser crimes, forgotten in overcrowded prisons with no one speaking their names. They don't get presidential attention or public sympathy. They just fade into the system's silence. And then there's Nnamdi Kanu, 5 years in detention, dragged through endless court proceedings with no clear resolution and no political will to end it. The same government that can find compassion in one case somehow finds only punishment in his. That's not justice. That's selective morality." Rufai, we had Honorable Obia Agwocha on the morning show yesterday, and he, touched on this particular Twitter user's comment, the fact that, the only thing that Nnamdi Kanu is looking for is a release so that they could attend to his health. And, this sort of conversation of who gets pardoned or not is, the sort of conversation I'd like us to have. I'll take another expose before I come to you. And this is from Awele, who wrote, "Was the family of the late Bill Yamin Bello, that's her husband, consulted and in agreement before his killer, Miriam Sanda, is being granted pardon?" That's the question. The reason for her pardon is vexatious. The late Bill Yamin had his life cruelly cut short. No opportunity to see his children grow up, and Miriam is free. And that's one of the conversations, that Miriam is free so that she can attend to her children. Your thoughts on the story, Rufai?
I like to talk with empirical
As always, yes.
Presidential pardon, offense committed, October 2025. Drugs, 29.2%. Unlawful mining, 24%. Homicide, 13.5%. Fraud and corruption, 12.3%. Hijacking, 5.3%. Firearms, 2.3%. Robbery and theft, 2.3%. Human trafficking, 1.8%. You see, at this rate, let's all go mad together. Because if we have now become a nation where we pardon criminals that our institutions fought hard to convict, then President Tinubu, your next pardon, I have some names for you. You must pardon Lawrence Omajapo Anini. You must pardon Oyenusi, the criminal. You must pardon Shekau. Look at the joke Nigeria has become. You pardon all these people that have perpetrated heinous crimes, then you now have to drag the name of Herbert Macaulay in it to make it look legitimate. You now have to drag some of our founding fathers in it to make it, after you pardon all the criminals. Look at Farouk Lawan. there was a sting operation where the state security agencies, they were the ones that baited him with the bribe, the marked notes. He pardoned him. So what nation do we have? What nation, I ask, do we have? But in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, people have been speaking. Some Igbo, top leaders came to Buhari last time to seek a peaceful resolution to the matter. No. Nnamdi Kanu is not being granted access to see doctors. That's why they're not even asking for pardon, access to see doctors. But all of a sudden, we are seeing all of these pardons flying around. So what lessons do we want for children in the generations yet unborn? A woman, we take this to the story here, planned the attack for good measure, also lacerated the husband's body. You say you talk to the woman's family before you pass. So the husband family, they have nothing. How will the husband family feel today?
And that's the right question.
See, the prerogative of mercy is expected that a president will be able to, dispense that prerogative reasonably. But as it is today, like somebody was saying today, I think they should be adding civil society so that we can circumvent the names brought forth. We are living in a country where, you are having all sorts of... Somebody, let me read a newspaper article that was written many years ago for you, Oji, where somebody was saying that people of questionable characters will be the one ruling Nigeria over the years to come. See, New Breed newspaper, this was in 1990s or something, where they were saying drug barons may determine the political future of Nigeria.
These are the
these are the issues in the country. This is not nice. And please, President Tinubu, with due respect, let's stop all of this. Let's make it make sense.
Yes. I mean, we have to live in a country where it appears that the federal government, presents itself as being accountable, fair, and just. What is good for the goose, is that how they say, is good for the gander. Well, we'll continue to follow up on this story. I'm sure there will be more names that will come up from this executive presidential pardon. Well, Tuesday's heated exchange with Speaker Abbas. You raised Nnamdi Kanu's health as a point of privilege, but the Speaker ruled you out of order. Now, can you walk us through what happened and why you felt this approach was necessary? You stated that Nnamdi Kanu is on the verge of death. What specific information do you have about his health condition that led you to make, such a grave assertion?
Well, on the 21st of August, I had paid a visit to my constituent, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, at the DSS detention. And when I met with him, honestly, I thought I was seeing a ghost-like figure. We discussed extensively, by which we had an intervention of his medical doctors to do a full assessment of him. And their conclusion, which was part of the report that I sent to Mr. President, that I sent to the Attorney General and to my Speaker, was the conclusion of the report was that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu had organ insufficiencies, including a low potassium count. You could also recall that during the rendition, the extraordinary rendition of him, his nose were broken, and so many other issues that arose from that. So mainly what I was saying to the Attorney General and to the Mr. President and to my Speaker was for them to urgently intervene to give him adequate medical treatment, and at the same time for them to constitute their own panel, government panel, to reassess Mazen Nnamdi Kanu with a view to look at the medical report that was in existence, which was his own medical report. And the Attorney General actually constituted a medical team to reevaluate Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Upon their evaluation, they even went further than Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's team of doctors to also verify that there were other issues that even were not captured by Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers. Doctors. So the court in its sitting also instituted another panel of Nigerian Medical Association to independently verify the other two reports and assess Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. So we are still waiting for the NMA report to be made available to the court so that we can look at how far that it has gone into the deterioration of his health. But Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, make no, we should not be under any illusion, is sick And if his health is not managed away from the primary health centers that he's been managed at the DSS facilities, what we are requesting for Mr. President is for him to intervene to have DSS transfer Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from a primary healthcare type facility to an adequate tertiary health facility anywhere in the country, so that his health can be managed effectively. Otherwise, if by providence that they allow Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to continue to deteriorate and he dies in detention, it will be catastrophic and volatile, especially in the Southeast, for them to manage. What we want is for the government to be circumspect about it and look at it critically, that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has a fundamental human right. He has neither been convicted for any crime in Nigeria, nor, so that for him, the same right that should be availed to me or to any other Nigerian should also be accorded to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. His health is very paramount and must be treated accordingly.
All right, Honorable Agocha, thanks for the information. You're very specific. You're also very detailed. But I will also, at the risk of asking for, personal information, I'm wondering, since you've engaged directly with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and with his medical team, and you're specific in what you are requesting for, the sort of medical attention at a medical facility that you think will be able to look after him. Do you have an idea of what ails him? What is he suffering from? I get the point of the broken nose, a few other things that you mentioned. But then if we're using phrases like on the verge of death and that the health is deteriorating, and we're talking, 2 months ago up till now, what precisely ails him? And what are your expectations when you return to plenary and you represent your demands to the Speaker of the House of Representatives? Are you hopeful that he will do the needful?
I lost you there a bit,
okay,
but let me try to make the general assessment of what you just said. Yeah, I used the word on the verge of death because of the deteriorating conditions as were assessed by his own doctors. And as well, when the second team of doctors constituted by, I believe, at the leave of the Attorney General, also went further than the doctors. That means that, at the baseline, which is Nnamdi Kanu's doctors, are saying that he has organ deterioration and insufficiencies, low potassium. And if we continue to allow him to stay in that condition unmanaged and not given adequate medical treatment, then what we are invariably saying that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is going to be on the verge of death, which was why I urgently said, please take this man away from the DSS treatment facility, which can be compared at best to a primary health facility. They will not be able to give him adequate treatment. And that was why I specifically requested for him to be taken to an adequate tertiary health facility where he can be given multiple attention on multiple issues to be treated. I mean, it's best for Nnamdi Kanu to be alive than to be dead. It's even the judge in the matter said it's best for him. It's only somebody who is alive can stand trial. So, but fundamentally, this is something that is requested, that is due to Nnamdi Kanu as a citizen of Nigeria. Every citizen has a fundamental right to adequate health care and treatment. Now, regarding the Speaker, the urgency of it was why I came under privilege. One, because I have written them earlier, requesting for their intervention, and as a member, I deserve to have a response of whatever issues that I raise, whether it be positive or negative. So when they didn't respond, and it appears that that culture of silence existed in respect to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, we cannot continue to deal with the issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in private. It is important that it is venerated in public so that people would know his health status, his condition, and the solutions that we are preferring for him to be treated. I don't think that asking for Nnamdi Kanu to be given adequate medical treatment is too much. But what we are saying that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu deserves every fundamental right to get adequate treatment.